You're gonna have
Hey everybody, my name's Evan, and this is Bob. Welcome to the first episode of Fishing with Bob.
All right, Bob. So what's the goal today? What are we focusing on here?
We are focusing on getting you, Rick, onto a fish with a Tenkara rod.
Tenkara rod. Can you give us a little backdrop about Tenkara?
Yes. So let me explain. This is a Western fly rod. See how I had to stick it all the way down into my car? It's 9 feet long, strung up. Of course, I can break it down. This is my Tenkara rod.
Oh man! All right, let me use.
What's the plan?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's nice and cold. It's really nice. Stream Keeper's authorized thermometer.
Okay, yeah. So is this what you usually do when you go to the stream, Bob?
In the summer.
In the summertime? Okay.
Yep. We want to make sure that water temperature is below 70 degrees. If it's not, we fish someplace else.
Now, where do you go take water temperature samples?
Well, that's a good question. Do you have any advice for me?
I don't know. I'm asking you because we're fishing with Bob today.
I think it's probably better to be out in the middle of the stream where there's some current.
Okay.
So we just pop that sucker in there.
All right.
And we are at 67 degrees, so I say we're good to fish.
Okay, sounds good. Awesome. How long have you been fishing the rush, Bob?
Let's see, since about 1990?
1990. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you born then?
I was.
Awesome.
I'm an 80s baby, so yeah, it's all right.
All you need to know about the rush, just come here and you'll be fine. Okay. Just don't go to any other places.
Okay.
And I should warn you, that there have been cougar sightings on the rush.
Really?
So fish at your own risk.
Okay. What's your favorite section of the rush?
You think I'd tell you?
Oh! And then top 3 tips for a guy who's trying to learn, or gal who's trying to learn Tenkara.
Top 3 tips. The first thing is get the right rod. I really like the Suntech Tenkara Bum 40.
Okay.
Because it's got very sensitive tips, so it makes it easier to cast and easier to detect fish. But it's got a wider butt than a lot of the ones that you see, so it's got enough backbone to fight big fish.
Oh man, like
so
carp?
number 1, get the right rod.
Okay.
Not sure about carp.
Okay, all right.
Should probably practice your casting.
Okay.
Someplace besides a stream to start out with.
Oh, okay.
Because one of the things you'll learn about Tenkara is it has a really long reach, which is great when you're working a stream. But it's also really easy to get it up into the trees. So it's better to practice a little bit off the stream first. And I guess my third tip is I actually would start Tenkara fishing on a more open stream.
Okay.
Either a wider stream like the Rush or a meadow stream. Because if you try and go in the trees with a Tenkara rod, you're going to be wishing you were doing something else. Tenkara fishing started actually on mountain streams.
Yep.
And it really is good where you have complicated currents and moving water. And in slower water,
Okay.
it's actually somewhat difficult to fish Tenkara because you don't typically use a strike indicator. And the strikes in slow water, the trout are sipping stuff.
Okay.
Deep, and so it's really hard to detect strike. So I guess another tip would be, especially when you're starting out, to look for some moving water.
Okay.
So should we go down here?
Yeah, let's go down there. I'll let you lead the way. Bob, when you come to a stream like this, how do you break it down? What's the best way to approach with the Tenkara rod?
Well, actually, I'd like to call on my able assistant, Caitlin, here.
Oh, okay.
Caitlin has been fishing Tenkara for how long?
A year. I've done it twice.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And the last time we went, she got into a whole mess of fish.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Caitlin, if you're taking a look at this water here, what are you thinking about for potential places where you might want to hit fish?
I think if it was me, I really like the shady area right here.
Yep.
So I think I'd probably start inside and get that nice foamy stuff. Those
Yep.
rocks back there that look good.
Yep. Foam is home.
Yeah.
Oh, is there a
I bet
riser?
there's some good stuff underneath that branch over there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a really good place to start. and I think we ought to fish that first. And then the other thing, I was just talking about how they do really well in faster water. Especially when you're starting out to look for some moving water. Right where that rapid is coming in, it's in the sun, but with the broken water and so forth, fish will be probably hugging the bottom there. And the Tenkara rod really comes in its own because you can tight line it.
Okay.
So yeah, should we try and fish this?
Yeah, let's try it.
All right.
So walk me through the setup here. That you said that's a reeler.
Okay, so this is a line holder.
Line holder. Okay, sorry, line holder.
And so when I'm walking along the stream, you know, I don't want all the line and stuff in my way. So some people just wrap it around the rod, but I like using this line holder.
Okay.
And it's got a little rubber band here that holds all the line in. And when I'm starting to set up my rod, one of the things that I have to keep in mind is that the tip of the Tenkara rod, it is a telescoping rod.
Yeah.
And the very tip of it is super skinny.
Oh.
Look how fine that is.
Wow.
So
Really
we
zoom in.
should have. You point your rod up and bring it right here. And let's see if we can get a close up there.
There we go. Yeah.
So you can see how
yeah.
much thicker a Western rod is than the Tenkara rod.
Yes.
And what that means is that when it's fully extended and you get a bow, it's very sturdy. But if you bend it, it will break.
Okay.
So rule number one is when you're rigging and unrigging, you want to protect the tip.
Okay.
And so the way that
Let's stand over here so Caitlin can.
yeah, sorry. Away from the tip.
Okay.
And I get my line out, and then I start to unfurl the rod.
Oh, okay.
And then when I'm putting my rod away, I just go the exact opposite direction.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so start from the fly when you're rigging up, and when you're rigging down, you start with the rod butt.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So what I do is I pull this out.
Yep.
And then there's sections, and in each section I give it a little tug so that the sections tighten up.
Okay. Like a firm tug, right?
Yep, just a little tug.
Now I noticed on the tip, your leader tippet's tied there. What kind of knot are you using?
Right. So that's this red thing here is called the Lillian.
Okay.
And I just tied that on with a kind of I make a loop.
Yep.
Like a slip knot.
Yep.
And I wrap the slip knot twice around the Lillian, and then I tighten it up.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Okay. So I just continue to extend the rod, and all of a sudden,
We're fishing.
I got the bloody longest rod on the river.
Jeez, let me zoom out. We got the 50X or 0.5X. We zoom out. That thing's dang. Again. Boom. All right. Is there any special secret leader formula that you use for Tenkara?
So the basic leader formula for Tenkara is you use about 4 or 5 feet of 5X.
That's it?
You can go 6X, you can go 7X. You probably don't need any more than 5X. And if you go something like 4X and you get a big fish on, you're kind of at risk of breaking your rod.
Oh, okay.
So I'd recommend typically sticking with 5X unless you have really spooky fish.
Okay.
And I'm going to start out doing some tight line nymphing, which is a really simple way to get started with Tenkara.
Okay.
Later we can try like Evan, like casting soft hackles or casting dries.
All right.
Casting is a little bit more tricky once you use those lighter flies. When you have a weighted fly, you get a little bit of weight, which is loading your rod, and you can feel that.
Okay.
So it's a little easier to start. See a little mark there on my pinky?
Yeah.
That's where I managed to bury one of these stop and goes the other day.
Oh.
Fortunately, the barb was almost all the way crimped down. So I only had to work it a little bit with the forceps.
Oh.
But the last few days I've been paying particular attention to make sure that my barbs are completely crimped down.
All right.
Good for the fish, good for the angler.
Oh, that looked good. That looked good. Oh. Got one? Yeah, that's a nice one. All right, see how you land it. This is awesome.
I got to tell you, one of the challenges is that the line is no longer than the rod, right?
Yep,
So how in the heck am I going to get this fish to me, right?
yep.
So the trick is you just grab the line.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hey,
Dang.
there's that fly right there, cleanly lip hooked. Comes out easily because we pinched the
Barbless.
barb.
Yeah, let him go.
There he goes.
Wow. Let's go. Let's go, Bob. Holy cow. I thought it was a rock. That's a heavy fish. That's a good one. That's a good one. Dang. Oh, let him get tired. That's a good one. That's a good one, sir. Yes, man. Dang. Working downstream. Watch out for that rock. Whoa. Whoa. The Presidente. The Presidente. Bob Luck TV show here. Let's go. Hand line them in. Whoa. Mega. That's a mega.
All right. You got the video going?
Yeah, I got the video.
So there we go.
See ya, friend. They're like, oh God.
Sometimes everything works out.
Hey,
now
you
you're
got-
going to think this is what happens every time.
Oh, Bob Luck's in the juice. He's in the juice. Just sitting in the prime lie, reading water. He's just doing it right now. This guy's crushing it. Look at that. Splashing, running back. Oh, yeah. That's a good fish, yeah. Yep. That's barbless. That's how easy it is. Keep feeding them. I'll keep